48, across from the Intercontinental Hotel, where Bibi and Biden are set to meet this morning. We've already got an enormous and loud crowd. Just to give you a sense of the size of the crowd right now. Pink Front is back.
Back.
Well rested, I hope. Hello, cutie pies. What are you doing here today?
We live in Tel Aviv.
We're
on vacation here. We live in Tel Aviv, actually.
You're on vacation?
Yeah, and it's the most important place to be right now.
Can you tell us what you're doing right now?
Lee, you want to tell them?
Protecting our democracy in Israel. We're becoming a dictator, so we're not gonna allow that, right? Bibi Abaita. Shame.
Thank you for being here.
Thank you.
Do you have any message that you want to send to English speakers around the world for why you're here today, or what you would like to ask from them? And speak loudly if you can.
Okay, we're asking the world to protect our democracy in Israel because we're becoming a dictator, because our government lost her mind, and the people want to live in a democracy. The kids want democracy, and help us.
Thank you. Okay, so we shouldn't just wait and quietly support.
Yeah.
We should.
You should protest and not allowing that.
How does it feel to come to a protest?
Powerful.
How does it compare to Kaplan, or because you said
of course Kaplan is like huge and every week for like 40 weeks in a row, but here it's so much. It's important to go and like follow Bibi whenever he goes, and I don't think Biden really wants to meet him, so yeah. Thank you. Where it's gonna be?
You can scan this. So we're live streaming for USA for Israeli Democracy.
Okay,
I'm just a volunteer with a cell phone, and we're live streaming right now for English speakers to understand what's happening.
Thank you so much.
Bye, Samudim. So for those people watching, if you have questions that you want to ask any of the people here, or maybe that I can try and answer, I'll stand on the side here. Hopefully you can hear me. Actually, if you could tell me if you could hear me in a comment, that would be wonderful. My name is Sheldon. I'm a New Yorker, but I spent the summer in Israel, and I have an Israeli wife and Israeli daughter. I'm the grandson of one of the founders of Kibbutz Tel Yosef, who was in the British Mandate of Palestine from 1938 to 1947. My sister is a reservist. She was a lone soldier, and I'm someone who believes in equal rights, human rights for all people around the world, and especially in Israel. We need to speak up for it, but of course that can bleed and harm our democracy here in America and around the world, and we have to show the world that the playbook of Hungary and Poland will not work, and we have to actually show how to. Oh, thank you, Asaf. We have to show the world that we can. We have to write the playbook for the defense against this. So here, let me show you some people.
Where are you filming for?
Hi.
Hey.
For USA for Israeli Democracy.
Yeah.
Can I speak with you?
Of course.
Mind coming over here? That way I can point the microphone. Can you tell us who you are, where you're from?
Sure. My name's Akiva Miller. I am originally from Israel. I've been living here in New York for the past 10 years. And I'm here protesting for democracy in Israel because it's a country I love. It's a country where my family is, where I was born. And this government is taking it in the absolute wrong direction. And there's a false narrative that this judicial reform is bringing the Israeli legal system, the Israeli justice system, closer to American-style democracy. That is, of course, completely false. It's a complete lie. And I think they're taking the worst elements of American judicial practice, the political appointment of judges, secretaries who serve at the will and at the pleasure of the president, taking those worst elements instead of taking the best elements of American justice, the Constitution, term limits, separation of powers. Instead, they are taking the worst elements and concentrate power in the hands of the government, making it undemocratic, unaccountable, and we're losing the country that we love by doing that. I mean, that's why I'm here.
How dire is the situation right now? How urgent?
How urgent? It is extremely, extremely urgent. In January, new Minister of Justice, Yariv Levin, came on and laid out his plan. And it was only through the power of persistent protests that plan has not come to pass. And if we weren't here out in the streets and our friends and families in Israel weren't out in the streets, Israel would already today be a very different country than it is. And we wanted to stop it going in that direction. And so it is extremely urgent that we are here now and that this plan be stopped now. There's no other time and there's no other way to do it. We have to be here speaking up, raising our voice, and showing that we care about this country enough to be here day after day, week after week, until this plan is put away and this government starts taking its real priorities seriously, priorities of defending the country, enriching the people, defending its economy, strengthening its industry, and not taking steps that destroy the country, to making it a weaker, more divided country. And that's what they're doing, and we have to speak up against it.
Can you describe for the viewers around the world who are watching, can you tell us about who you see marching today?
So here around me, I see a lot of committed lovers of Israel, people who are secular, who are religious, who are on the political right and the political left on all other issues, but who realize that this one issue of the democratic character of Israel transcends many of the other issues that divide Israelis and Jews. I see Mizrahim and Ashkenazi. I see really anybody who cares about Israel is here and is in the protest in Israel as well. This is transcending a lot of the old divisions, and it's really, I think, a show of the broad base of Israel who oppose this government and oppose the actions it's taking against a few very concerted interest groups who want these changes to happen.
If you could invite anyone to this protest who you haven't seen yet, who do you want to invite?
I mean, I want to invite everybody who cares about Israel to be here. I think anybody who has a stake in the future of Israel, whether they are Americans, Israelis, lovers of Israel, of any nationality, religion, and sort of political stripe, should be here, because this is not a protest for a narrow interest. This is a protest for the terms on which a future Israel can exist, which is only on democratic terms. If Israel ceases to be a functioning democracy, it becomes beholden to the narrow interests that have captured this government. It's very different from the Israel that all of us have loved for the past 75 years.
Last question. How hopeful are you?
I'm extremely hopeful. I mean, what we've seen is that these protests have been extremely effective. We are determined. We are here day after day and week after week, and so are the protests in Israel, in masses that Israel has never seen before, and the protests have already shown results. And so I am extremely hopeful that they will continue to show results. It's a long struggle. It's not going to end until a new government is formed. But even when that goal is not achieved, our being here is showing results. And so I'm very hopeful that our continued presence is doing some good.
Amazing. Thank you so much for your time.
Of course.
I just want to tell you, you can scan this QR code. You're already on. Okay, so you can watch it. Please go ahead and join. I'm going to talk to our viewers here for a moment. Here comes my friend Gilad. If you could take a moment, if you're watching right now, it would be helpful if you would take the little share button on this video, share it to Facebook, share it to Instagram, send an email to your friends and family, and tell them what you've seen, what you've heard on these videos, and if you've attended protests. I would like to talk to you, my friend. Are you willing to speak to English
Yeah,
speakers?
of course,
Okay,
always.
Let's walk over here just so we can hear you a little better. So,
And here I am. I'm a person. I have eyes. All this stuff. Right there.
thank you. Yeah, we've
Yes.
got a performer here, so he knows how to be in front of the camera. I am live streaming for USA for Israeli Democracy, an
Yes.
English-speaking resource. So, could you tell us who you are and what's going on here today?
My name is Gilad Paz. I am Israeli, also American citizen, so I'm on both sides. I'm 40 years old. I'm a performer, real estate agent, coach, lives in New York City. I've been here 18 years this time around, and we are here to make sure that the home of the Jewish people doesn't become a dictatorship. It's that simple. We are here to make sure that there is no power grab, that we are not going to become the kind of Eastern European dictatorship that had dictatorships that have happened in Hungary and Poland very recently. And there are a lot of talks about, oh, this government was elected democratically. Yes, it was, like every other dictatorship. It was first elected democratically, at least in the Western world. And what we are trying to make sure doesn't happen is that this judicial reform, which was, if you are not aware, very low on the election platform of the Likud party, now they made it the #1 issue, that they created a bulldozer to go through the only check that Israeli government has, which is the Supreme Court. And making that the #1 issue that they went with, instead of taking care of the cost of living in Israel, which is insane if you are not aware. My entire family is in Israel. My brothers can barely make ends meet. And they are both working, their wives are working. This is the kind of thing that Bibi needs to take care of, not making sure that he can appoint ministers and who are convicted felons, make sure that he doesn't stay out of jail if and when he is convicted. All of this judicial reform has happened to make sure that the people that they want in power and all of these decisions that they want to make about the lives of Israelis can go through without a hitch. Because the way that the Israeli government works is simple. Simple majority makes a coalition, which means that every law can be passed. And it's super important for us in the American Jewish community to understand that this is not going to be a true democracy if the power of the Supreme Court gets completely dismantled. So what are you able to do in your community to start talking about this and understand that there is urgency right now? The people in Israel have been doing this 40 weeks in a row. I have friends, I have family who have been showing up every Saturday night. Come, be part of this conversation with us and with your leaders.
Amazing. How dire is the situation?
It is extremely dire. I have friends in Israel, and I don't know if you have read any kind of news, but there are some ultra-Orthodox factions who have been already showing their ugly heads, and there have been situations with women who have been sent to the back of the bus literally in 2023, now in the last few months, because these bus drivers, these people sitting in these buses feel empowered by these extreme right-wing ministers who are telling them that it's okay. It's the Orthodox. It's a very, very difficult situation, and we are here. I live here, and I feel it every day, what's going on there. And that's how dire this situation is right now for us all to talk about in the American Jewish community.
Is that legal, where the women were being sent to the back of the bus?
No, it is not. Not yet. But with the reasonability clause being or being canceled, now they can actually make laws that will make that legal to send women to the back of the bus.
Will they really do that?
Yes, the ultra-Orthodox, all they do out there, it's already, if you drive through Bnei Brak on a Saturday, you get, your car gets rocks thrown at it.
But will they make it the law of the land?
They can.
What I'm getting at is they already have the proposal in the
they do.
Knesset for the
They do.
parliament, which is
They do.
convening
When
in a few weeks.
I was in Israel in April, a few months after this government was elected, I saw a list of 141 laws that are already in a process, including taking away core studies, including
math, sciences.
Allowing more rabbinical court oversight. Rabbinical court oversight. You know who has rabbinical court oversight? Bibi is here talking to Biden so he can give him the okay to do everything he wants. We can't make that, we can't let that happen. We, period, can't let this happen. Achim Laneshek, brothers and sisters in arms, are here. And they always talk about the fact that if this is, and we spoke about this yesterday, Sheldon, this is a war for the home. Not only the home of Israelis. You know how it is. If you are a supporter of Israel, you must talk about what's happening right now, because there is not going to be a democratic Israel to go to if we ever need that as American Jews.
All right, so we've been talking about what the government is trying to do. I want to know what offense the opposition is taking. What do you see here?
Oh, I mean, we have hundreds of people right here on the corner of 48 and Lexington in Manhattan, across from the Intercontinental Hotel where Biden is meeting with Bibi right now, because we need to let President Biden know to not believe the lies that this crime minister, Bibi Netanyahu, is feeding him and the entire world. Because let me tell you, the things that Bibi says in English are very different than the things he says in Hebrew.
Gilad, how hopeful are you?
You know, seeing this and being in Israel, I was in Israel in April, as I mentioned, and being in Kaplan, in Tel Aviv, with even during the holiday, it was Pesach. I was there with 140,000 people, which is, like you mentioned yesterday, it's like a tenth of the country showing up every Saturday night, and for other local rising and protests. It is very important for all of us to understand that this is a real movement, and seeing this here gives me hope that things might be able to change. But we all have to be part of this, and having the American Jewish community raise your voice and talk to your representatives in Congress and tell them that you don't want them to support.
Okay, I lost Gilad. Oh, there you are.
I'm here. We had to yell at the motorcade.
So I interrupted you.
But the idea is this: we need Israelis, American Jews, anyone who is in the United States. We need to reach out to our representatives and say, We do not believe Bibi. We do not believe what he is saying. We do not believe in his attempt to create a dictatorship in Israel, which is a Jewish democracy. Yes, that is always an interesting conversation to have, and that's a conversation we can have, and that is being held right now about what that means. But first, it means it's a democracy. First and foremost, the way that Ben-Gurion envisioned it, the way that everyone has believed that it's been in the last 75 years. And things are changing in Israel right now, and they're going to change for the better. I truly believe that.
Amazing. Thank you, Gilad. I've taken so
Thanks,
much of your
Sheldon.
time.
No, thank you.
I'll
Thanks
see
for
you
doing
out there.
this. It's important.
Well, can I put you on camera? Okay. What is the demonstration about, or what is? Okay, I'm gonna just point it at myself. So the question is, what is this about? I'm gonna give you my answer. In Israel, the government is working on legislation to remove all checks and balances, and once that is done, in a matter of weeks, the parliament is going to convene and begin deliberating on the passage of over 200 laws, almost all of which violate human rights, women's rights, LGBTQ rights.
What do you mean checks and balances?
Okay, the question is, what do I mean by checks and balances? In Israel, there is a difference between the United States and America in a multitude of ways. There are checks and balances that exist here that do not exist in Israel. The only check and balance on the power of the government is the Supreme Court. Now, about 2 months ago, the parliament, the legislative branch of the Israeli government, they passed a law that eliminated one of the court's clauses that they can use. It's called the reasonableness clause. So if they deem something to be unreasonable, then they can send it back to the Knesset and invalidate the law. It's been used a very small amount of times. I'll tell you one of the times that they used it recently was when the current government tried to appoint a minister who had been convicted 3 times of bribery or fraud. The word is escaping me right now. And they tried to appoint him to the Minister of Finance. And the Supreme Court said, that's unreasonable.
Well, what was Netanyahu's, what was his...
He was the one trying to appoint this.
Well, what was the reason?
Because, in my opinion, and the opinion of many people here, Netanyahu, as you may have heard, is himself on trial for what is the word I'm looking for? Basically for bribery. And the only way he can keep himself out of jail is to continue to stay in power. Now, no one in the more moderate sections of the parliament would sit with him in the current government. So the only people that would sit with him to form a government were far-right, extreme people who are deemed unfit to serve in the Israeli army. His term will be over in about 3 years. But if he gets his way, he will never have an end to his term because he will be able to do whatever he wants. In Israel, the prime minister is the de facto head of the executive branch and the legislative branch.
Okay, so what do you want done now?
We would like the current government to set aside their plans to remove the checks and balances. We would like them to set aside the laws that are against women, against pluralist Jews, Jews who are not the ultra-Orthodox, set aside anti-LGBTQ laws.
Has he always had this attitude, Netanyahu?
No, he hasn't actually. There's a lot of film from him about 10 years ago defending the Supreme Court. He's just being very self-serving.
So he's changed? Since when has he changed?
Well, I couldn't answer that. I don't want to be his psychologist, but I will say that since he's been on trial, he has been just purely opportunistic and doesn't want to go to jail. And unfortunately, the sad truth is, all of the laws and everything aside, what can be said, no matter what side of the argument you're on, that by pushing through this thing, which is not made by consensus, in fact, it was done, they didn't run on the platform of doing this. They surprised everyone. Even people within Netanyahu's own party didn't know that they were going to run through this legislation. They are ripping the country apart, and they're talking on the news, on the moderate news stations, about civil war happening in Israel. Jews among Jews.
Why have you picked this?
Why have we chosen this spot is because the Intercontinental Hotel is there, and Bibi Netanyahu and Joe Biden are meeting there this morning. If you'd like to see the live stream, get involved, you can take out your phone and scan this QR code, or you can just look up USA for Israeli Democracy. We are just trying to help English speakers understand, like yourself, understand what's happening. And so appreciate you stopping and asking.
My grandson is a member of the Israeli Defense Force.
Well, you should speak with him. She said her grandson is a member of the IDF.
I am going to ask him what the general is.
Yeah, and you should ask him about what people are saying about the security situation in Israel right now, because a lot of the soldiers and a lot of the reservists have been talking about not showing up for duty because they're afraid that if the government does get their way, they could all be tried for war crimes, for things that they'll be asked to do by the current coalition. The Supreme Court is one of the only things that protects them from situations like that. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day. Thanks. Hey, you want to talk? Okay, thanks. So I'm Sheldon. I'm representing USA for Israeli Democracy.
Yeah.
We're doing a YouTube live stream. Just English speakers trying to understand what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Would you introduce yourself? And just speak loudly if you can, because the audio is not great.
My name is Amin Soleimani. I'm an Iranian American. I was born here, so I'm an American citizen. I just wanted to say I'm really grateful for all of you showing up and supporting the cause of Israeli democracy. As an Iranian, we are very well aware of how horrible things can be when the religious fanatics take over. And so I'm just really happy that you guys are trying to keep it out of the law, keep the checks and balances in place, and because also the hardliners on both sides feed off of each other. And so you guys doing this actually has pretty powerful implications for the rest of the Middle East too.
Amazing. Thank you so much for speaking with me. Can I ask you some more questions?
Sure.
So are you Jewish?
No.
You're not Jewish. And so how did you find out about today's protest? And what brought you here?
I was actually just walking down the street, getting ready for a protest against Raisi at the United Nations. And then I saw all you guys here, and I thought it was really cool, and I grabbed the t-shirt and wanted to support and listen in on your conversations earlier so I could understand a bit more about what's going on.
Oh, thank you so much. What message might you have to other non-Jewish people who don't live in Israel? Why was it important for you to show up today?
I think the message is just that the cause of human rights and democracy is universal, and we should support it everywhere, in our homelands and in other people's homelands, and supporting everybody. I think we're all on the same team, people who want democracy and freedom. So.
Amazing. Is there anything I didn't ask you? I actually want to ask you so many questions, but I'm blanking because I'm so excited to speak with you.
Cool.
Is there anything else you'd like to add?
Not really. I'm just glad you guys are here. Bless all of you.
I can't tell you how much it means for you to be here and to be supporting us. Not only as a non-Jewish, but in particular as an Iranian person. I do have one other question. Could you tell us what it feels like for you to be here, standing here today?
It's clearly an emotional moment.
Yeah.
I am really happy to see that the Israelis and the Jews have come together. Generally speaking, Jews are very coordinated and great at working together, and there's a lot to be learned from this, and I'm inspired.
Thank you. And I don't know if you recall this, but a number of years ago when there was some tension between Israel and Iran, it was the people between the two countries that began communicating over social media. And I don't know where it began, I can't remember, but people were sending over social media, Jews and Israelis love Iranians. And we were receiving in Israel the same messages back. Iranians love Jews in Israel. So it really does start with the people, and it ends with the people too.
Yeah, the
And
government, they try to brainwash us and Iranians into thinking that Israel is the enemy, but I think Iranians at this point have figured out that, our own government is doing worse things to Iranian people than Israel has done ever. The people have figured it out.
Listen to Amin. He knows. And this is a kind of camaraderie that we're talking about. The understanding of what can happen when the power falls into the wrong hands and there are no checks and balances. Thank you, Amin, for being here.
What an inspiration, what a hope. I will just disclose one fact. My wife is Persian as well. So,
good luck with that
merci.
one. Persian women are kind of nuts.
I can't tell you how much it means to us and to everyone watching and all the people that are going to be seeing this not live. If you're willing to show up, if you're willing to bring family and friends as well, I just know it will be so meaningful. So thank you, and good luck with your other protests today.
Appreciate the conversation. And
absolutely.
Thanks for informing us.
It's USA for Israeli Democracy.
Awesome.
If you want to watch later,
I'm going to take a picture.
Sure.
Of
yeah,
it.
please do. Or this is the QR code for all of you. Cool. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So great to meet you. Wow. So I don't believe, I just saw a question get to the speakers. I don't believe at this protest we have any speakers. That will happen at some of the other protests. But let me just double check. Oh, hang on. Are there speakers at today's rally?
I don't know. I don't think it doesn't look like there's a lot of room for that.
So yeah, I don't think there are speakers at this particular rally, but of course we're going to be going live tomorrow. We'll be going live on Friday morning. That will be a huge one. We're expecting a lot of people to show up to protest and a lot of really important and inspiring people that are going to speak. I know it's going to be over 1,000 people, and let me just show you some more. Try to tell you some more. I hear a speaker.
We are saying, join us, make clear to Bibi that the only way forward runs through democracy.
Okay, I was wrong. This is the New York City comptroller.
That is the way to restore and cherish that vision of a Jewish and democratic Israel. That is a way to bring a just peace with Palestinians. That is the way to bring reconciliation with Arab neighbors. And that is the way to build a just, a democratic, and a peaceful world. Toda rabah. Thank you very much.
We're gonna sing now, אנחנו לא מפחדות, which means we're not scared, but we're gonna sing it in Hebrew with the feminine way of saying it, because women's rights are under threat, and this is why all of us, men and women, are singing it that way. So let's go. אנחנו לא מפחדות, 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 אנחנו לא The thing is that there's so many important people in the city now that every time I'm seeing a black car, I'm like, Busha! But I don't know. Hopefully it wasn't like someone who's pro-democracy. It's shame for the meeting, for meeting Netanyahu. So I just want to say that we thank President Biden, that from the very second that this fight has begun, he stood up for Israeli democracy. He was a true ally to Israel, as he always was. And as one of the signs here say, in Joe we trust. I'm very honored to invite Eyal Naveh, head of Brothers and Sisters in Arms in Israel, an amazing fighter, both in the field and in the pro-democracy movement.
I cannot hear you. אנחנו נעשה גם עברית וגם אנגלית. קודם כל להגיד לביבי שאנחנו פה כי 22 רעיונות הוא עשה בתקשורת האמריקאית ואפס בתקשורת הישראלית. אפס, ולכן אנחנו Our fight of democracy is not just a fight for Israel. It's a fight for our shared democratic values. In a few days, it will be Yom Kippur.
Screaming too loud into it.
It's a special Yom Kippur. You know why? It will be the 50 years anniversary of the defensive Yom Kippur War.
כן.
Back
כן.
then, you came. You came in the plains to fight the war with us. Today, you are called again. Called again to stand with us.
It's... Oz, yeah.
Now it's better.
Yeah.
Democracia! 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 Today you called again to stand with us, to defend our beloved country once again. You will pass! We are here to tell the world that Israeli democracy is under attack! We are here to remind Bibi Netanyahu that he will be not able to destroy our democracy! Busha! 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 In Jerusalem, in Tel Aviv, in London, in New York, we'll be there! Israel's biggest ally, and it will be always its biggest ally as long as we stand democracy. We will not let you turn our country into a dictatorship! לישראלים שבו אני רוצה להגיד תודה ענקית על 9 חודשי עבודה קשה, אנחנו מרגישים אתכם! הרוח הגבית שאתם נותנים לנו בארץ היא אדירה, ואנחנו גאים בכם ומצביעים בכם, ואתם אחים ואחיות בנפש שלנו! אתם תעזרו לנו!
אפשר את הדגל בצד השני, תודה, תודה. This is a copy of the Israeli Declaration of Independence.
Minister Edith Silman, who's just over there. Minister Silman, I want you to know that wherever you go, we'll be there.
Yes.
We'll take interviews, we'll be there, they'll hear us. Because the pro-democracy movement is stronger than you. And Prime Minister Netanyahu, Israel is stronger than you. We stronger than this government.
From there, take the camera and point to her face.
And we will not give up. Okay, I'm sorry, Nancy, because Netanyahu is driving. So what do we want to tell to Netanyahu? Their car is over there. Busha! 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 And while we hope President Joe Noten Baruch Netanyahu, I want to invite the amazing Nancy Kaufman. Nancy is the chair of the board of the New York Jewish Agenda and past CEO of National Council of Jewish Women, an amazing Jewish leader who we are so happy to have as our friend in this protest movement from the very beginning. Thank you, Nancy.
I humbly stand before you while world leaders gather at the United Nations and in that hotel right there. The United Nations is an institution that was created out of the horror of World War II. With the promise to never again allow atrocities to happen. I stand here in honor of one of my heroes, the Honorable Eleanor Roosevelt. Who was responsible for drafting the Universal Declaration of Human Rights in 1948. The very first article of that declaration said, all human beings are born free and equal in dignity and rights. They are endowed with reason and conscience and should act towards one another in a spirit of brotherhood. It is time for the leaders of the nations who accepted that declaration to honor it. It is time for Israel's elected officials who participate in this General Assembly to also stand by their own Declaration of Independence. That was adopted the same year and recognized by the United Nations and said unequivocally that the state of Israel will be based on freedom, justice, and peace. And it will ensure complete equality of social and political rights to all its inhabitants, irrespective of religion, race, or sex. Which is democracy. Democratia! I am in awe of all of you here today who show up day in and day out. And I also have been incredibly inspired by our brothers and sisters in Israel. Who I have proudly stood shoulder to shoulder with, protesting in solidarity in Israel. Israelis of diverse backgrounds and professions have woken up from their years of slumber and are standing up and speaking out to defend their all too fragile democracy. The least we can do as American Jews is to stand side by side with them in the name of democracy. We will no longer have a place to call our second home. So, Mr. Netanyahu and your morally corrupt government, who are now ours as well. This moment is the greatest threat to Israel's existence, barring none, that we have seen in our lifetimes. The threat of losing her very young democracy and becoming an autocracy. Community should be united in fighting for Israel's survival and give a clear and forceful message of condemnation of Bibi's efforts to undo 75 years of being a light unto the nations. And I fully hope, President Biden, who I respect and admire, I hope that right now, right here, you are giving Bibi a message as well, that the United States will not sit idly by and watch while its closest ally in the world unravels what has been one of the strongest democracies in the world. Thank you.
One of the founders of the unacceptable movement. He's here to tell us why we should fight for the
the many community leaders who came here today. We want to say thank you everyone who came. And do everything I can to save Israeli democracy, even sailing to Alcatraz to welcome Bibi. Here in Manhattan, 235 years ago, Alexander Hamilton wrote the Federalist Paper explaining why each branch of government should operate independently and serve as a check and balance against the other branches. All the rules and is about nothing more and nothing less than idea that democracy only works when each branch of government serves as a checks of the others. Democracia! 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 75 years after the U.S. Constitution was written, America endures a terrible civil war to clarify not only what it meant, but who it applied to. 75 years after our Declaration of Independence, which is just right here, hundreds of thousands of Israelis have taken the streets for over 8 months to clarify what it means and what legal framework it endures. Regardless of who is in power, our battle is peaceful and non-violent. Democracia! 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 To thank President Biden for standing with the people of Israel who wants to preserve democracy. As we mark the 50 years of the Yom Kippur War, we remember that America provided a crucial support knowing that the Arab oil embargo would follow. Thank you, Mr. President. Under your leadership, President Biden, the United States is a bulwark against the global pandemic of attack on democracies. You are demonstrating that the commitment, you are demonstrating that commitment by inviting the brave leader of Ukraine, President Zelensky, who literally fights for democracy, to the White House, and not inviting Netanyahu. Actually, they messed up with several wrong generations, from teenagers to Holocaust survivors. In adapting this coup, while you are in office, Mr. President, we believe they messed up with the wrong generation of American leadership. תודה רבה לכל מי שהגיע לפה היום. ובעוד 170 קהילות בעולם. מלאה כדי לוודא שישראל תמיד תישאר. דמוקרטיה! are faithful for democracy will be victorious. They
למי לקחתי בטריה לטלפון?
מה, להגיד לכולם לשבת? וואי וואי וואי. כולם תהיו נמוכים, לא? להתיישב זה קשה, תהיו... לרדת נמוך, לרדת נמוך. Everybody go down, go down, go down, go down. It's gonna be fun, it's gonna be fun. רגע, 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 no. Sit down, sit down. רגע, רגע, רגע. לשבת. כולם. לשבת. Wow, if this is the amount of people who came here, what is going to happen on Friday? just to make it clear, everyone who's here now are going to come on Friday morning in front of the UN while Netanyahu is giving his speech, but you're gonna bring 2 other friends that are not here today because we need the world to understand that the American Jewish community, that the Israeli community is a pro-democracy community. I'm Israeli and I never had rabbis on my side. I'm coming from a very secular family, and this whole new Jewish people, like Orthodox Jews or Reform Jews or conservative Jews on my side is very new to me because in Israel I never really had it. But then I found out in America a new way to be Jewish. And I have so many rabbis on my side, and it is so moving. Because I learned so much from them. So I want to invite Esther Sperber. Esther is not a rabbi, but she has been to other rabbis, and she taught me so much of how we can reach out to the American Jewish community. So she will invite our next rabbi. Thank you. She is an amazing
וואו, תגידו את זה, רועי, תגידו את זה, שני. הפגישה התחילה כרגע וביידן פתח אותה ואמר שנדון בדמוקרטיה ובאיזונים פנימיים. זה הכל בזכותכם. זה בזכותכם.
Thanks to everyone here and thanks to everyone in Israel. Biden just started the meeting in this very moment saying
Biden just started the meeting, and he started my meeting with Bibi by saying this meeting is going to be about our democratic values. I'm just trying to help repeat. Biden just opened the meeting with Netanyahu, and he started it by saying this meeting is about democratic values.
So, thank you, Biden. Thank you, President Biden, for being a true ally to Israel. And I see that the news in Israel are saying, from the hotel of the meeting, we see and hear very clearly the protest outside.
Multiple times a week to chase all kinds of ministers. Thank you for still being here, and thank you to all our American Jewish friends who are joining us, who have joined us, who will join us. Jewish and democratic and Israeli and religious. And religion is not against human rights and civil rights and democracy. So I'm so proud to invite Rabbi Becca Weintraub, one of the assistant rabbis at BJ, who's been a great supporter of us.
Democracia!
Democracia! Democracia! Democracia! Democracia!
People, why are you sleeping? Get up and cry out. We stand between Rosh Hashanah and Yom Kippur, and this time of year is known as the Aseret Yamei Teshuvah, the 10 days of repentance. In this time, one of the daily rituals for us is to say
the Slichot prayers, the service of Slichot, which we open our hearts and we think of all the things we did wrong and all the ways that we can change for the new year to come. We pray and we beg to God to give us compassionate judgment as we move into a new year, and we pray for us to live by our values. Ben Adam, Ma Lecha Nirdam. People, why are you sleeping? Kum Kira, get up, cry out. And so we gather here today to cry out. We cry out against the actions of Bibi Netanyahu, the horrific. We cry out against fascism taking root in Israel.
Busha! 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 Busha!
We cry out for tzedek, for justice. We cry out for freedom. We cry out for democracy.
Democracia! 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 Democracia!
God beckons us, Ben Adam, Ma Lecha Nirdam. People, why are you asleep? Kum Kira, get up and cry out. And so we continue to cry out. We cry out for the minorities who are being silenced. We cry out for our LGBTQIA plus siblings who are being stripped of their rights. We cry out for the women. We cry out for our spiritual partners in Israel, for liberal Judaism, for people to practice whatever religion they would like to practice, however they want to practice it. We cry out for Palestinians. We cry out in love. We cry out in solidarity with hundreds of thousands of Israelis who take the streets week after week after week. People, why are you sleeping? Kum, get up, Kira, and cry out. This is the time of year when we do teshuvah. The root of teshuvah is shuva, to return. And so we ask and we pray to return to our values, the values that are at the heart of our sacred tradition, the values that are at the foundation of Israel and its founding in 1948. We stand and we say together that we turn toward equity, we turn toward love. Ahava, we have love, and we will fight hate with our love. We turn toward dignity, we turn toward peace. Ben Adam, Ma when you're down. People, why are you sleeping? Kum. Our beloved Israel, wake up, Shuva, and return to justice, return to democracy. Democratia!
Democracia! 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 Democracia!
Here she comes, and she's gonna lead us with some chant.
So, my name is Randy Weingarten. I'm the president of the AFT, the Federation of Teachers, and we fight for democracy in the and in Israel.
Yes.
Is that better?
I just want to say to the Israelis, she's like the non-Bar David, okay? This is like a major deal that she's here. Thank you.
To the Israelis, I zoomed in to the IDEA festival a couple of weeks ago, and to the Americans that are here, we as Americans must support the Israelis who are fighting for their democracy. As much as we are fighting for freedom and justice in America, we must fight for freedom and justice and democracy for all in Israel. You are my heroes, but the whole street, our president, as well as Bibi, need to hear the words and the chants. Democracia!
Democracia! Democracia! Democracia! Democracia! Democracia! Democracia! Democracia!
Hi everyone, people are just joining us without us knowing. Isn't that amazing? Or on Oli's live stream, like my family in Israel. Hey, shalom. And everyone else, come join us on Friday. We need everyone, and don't bring 2 friends, bring 10 friends.
Yeah! Democracia! 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 אם לא יהיה שוויון, נפיל את השלטון, נפלתם על הדור הלא נכון. אם לא יהיה שוויון, נפיל את השלטון, נפלתם על הדור הלא נכון. אם לא יהיה שוויון, נשים את השלטון, נפלתם על הדור הלא נכון. אם לא יהיה שוויון, נשים את השלטון, נפלתם על הדור הלא נכון. אם לא יהיה שוויון, נחסום את השלטון, נפלתם על הדור הלא נכון.
המון 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 תודה לנגנים שלנו ולסטודנטים. משדרים בשידור חי ל-USA for Israeli democracy. Our last speaker is Yorai. Where is Yorai He's an Israeli who is American, Israeli, studying law at Columbia. Thank you for being with us.
הייתי רוצה לדבר איתכם בעברית, אבל היום אני לא פה כישראלי שגר בניו יורק, אני פה כיהודי אמריקאי. So I'll speak to you in English. My name is Yorai Vardi. I'm studying law at Columbia. I'm in my third year. You've heard from amazing people today. I don't have the resume. But what I have is a love for Israel that's been with me from the day I was born until today. A knowledge that there is no country more moral, more progressive, and more justified than Israel. But I'm an American Jew. And I can tell you that American Jews are uncomfortable about joining the Mechah. They are worried that if we speak out, the Jews of the world, we will open the floodgates. And I can tell you that I am worried too. I am worried about anti-Semitism. I am worried about enemies of Israel taking an opportunity. But there is one thing I'm not worried about. If we don't fight, there won't be a democracy. I'm not worried. I know it. If the Jews of the world don't stand up for liberalism and freedom and democracy in Israel, don't worry. The world will see. I go to school with people from everywhere, and I can tell you with confidence that the world is watching. And if Jews don't stand up for a liberal Israel, the world will not see the Jewish community quietly supporting a Jewish state. The world will see Jews abiding a dictatorship, a religious dictatorship where convicted terrorists are appointed to the most important ministries in the country. A dictatorship where the only guarantor of human rights, the Supreme Court, is completely ineffective. A dictatorship where today, already, laws have been proposed taking away due process rights, making the Palestinian flag illegal, and transferring control of the media to the government.
Boo! Busha! 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 Busha!
I will not let the fear of anti-Semitism stop me from speaking out. I will not let the fear of anti-Semitism kill the dream of a just and liberal and Zionist Israel. My message is simple. Bibi, the Jews of the world see you, and we're fighting. We will not let you destroy our country. Our country is not yours to sell. finish by asking the Jews, anyone who's here and anyone you might speak to. For so long, you've told people it isn't Israel, it's Israel's government. What will you do when Israel has one government for the next 20 years with no free elections? Will you still say that? For so long, you've tried to explain to people the importance of a Jewish homeland. But when every strain of non-Orthodox Judaism is taboo in the eyes of the state of the Jewish homeland, will you still say that? If we don't fight today, we will never again be able to say proudly that we are the only democracy in the Middle East.
Right.
This is not a fight for Israelis to fight for Israel. This is a fight for all of us to fight for liberalism, to fight for democracy, to fight for Judaism, home in the world. And Demokratia Leolam.
So as the meeting continues and the news are coming, we just see how much that was a true thing and that President Biden is a true ally of Israel, because as the news are coming from the meeting, we hear how strongly he's worrying about the Israeli democracy, Israel's democracy. In Joe, we trust. Okay, I say, tell me what democracy looks like, and then you do, this is what democracy looks like, right? Okay, so, tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. Democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like. Tell me what democracy looks like. This is what democracy looks like.
Avi, can we just walk over here so that we can hear you better? All right, we're gonna speak with someone. Let's try this. Okay. I'm just gonna get it a little bit close to you. I apologize, but just for the audio.
Sounds good.
So again, my name is Sheldon. I'm filming for USA for Israeli Democracy. I'm trying to help English speakers around the world be able to understand what's happening. So can you introduce yourself, tell us where you're from and why you're here?
Yeah, do you want me to talk?
Yeah, it doesn't matter, yeah.
Okay. So my name's Avi. I'm originally from Detroit, Michigan, West Bloomfield. I'm currently living in Brooklyn, Crown Heights. And yeah, I've been coming to these protests arranged by Unacceptable. I guess US for Israeli Democracy is involved as well. I thought it was important to show up and make sure there's a strong voice for supporting democracy in Israel. I'm over here, I don't know exactly what's going on in Israel, so I know there's nuance, but either way I think it can't hurt to just show up and be like, no, we want to make sure that democracy is strong, democratic institutions are strong. I have friends and family in Israel who I know are concerned, who are showing up to the protests every Saturday night or when they can. So felt it was important to show up, and it feels good to do something. It's also really an amazing crowd of people, a lot of ruach, a lot of spirit, a lot of energy, and just really impressive. Also the organization of the various demonstration protests that have been going on over the past couple weeks, months, and especially this week the Prime Minister is visiting and meeting with Biden right now. So I think it's just very important for both Bibi, Prime Minister Netanyahu, and President Biden to know where American Jews stand, where Israeli Americans stand. So I think it's important that we're outside of the hotel as they're meeting to make sure that he's emphasizing to keep Israel strong democratically, which it sounds like has been part of the message, which is really cool to hear.
Thank you. I've got some logistical questions, and then I want to follow up on some of the things that you've been saying. So first of all, are you here alone today?
I came alone, although I did see a couple people that I know from Crown Heights. I was going to come with my roommate, he slept in.
So bring
Shout out to Noah. Should be here right now.
Were you in any way nervous about showing up today? Excited? How were you feeling before arriving?
So I was definitely excited. I wanted to see the crowd, and I showed up. I was up late last night. I guess it was last night or 2 nights ago, and I'm in the WhatsApp group where they're organizing, and I saw them post that they're going to be welcoming the Prime Minister at his hotel when he landed and got to the hotel at 3 a.m. So I showed up there, and it was a lot of fun. and so I was excited to come here. In terms of nervous, not so much. I do think that there is there's a bit of nuance, I guess, or I don't know 100% where I stand on stuff. So it's you worry about showing up and being like, is this the right crowd? But again, for me, it's like it doesn't hurt to show up to support democracy and have a strong voice, especially when all these big changes are happening in Israel. People should be showing up on both sides. It's important to show that people care about what's happening and people are watching, because bad things happen when people in power make changes and people aren't paying attention. So I think at the very least there's that, and it's like, do I know the nuances of the reform and everything? Maybe not. So that's I guess the one hesitation, and maybe a lot of people feel that hesitation. Maybe that's the reason why people stay home, but I think it's like you don't need to know all the details. You can just know that, showing up to say that we love Israel and we believe in a Jewish democratic state. That's it.
Love it. Thank you. And so now that you're here, what does it feel like to be at a pro-democracy demonstration like this for Israel?
It feels good. It's exciting because there's a lot of people, and it's just it's good energy. I showed up. I saw my friend who I knew. He was setting up the flags, handing them out, and he delegated that to me. So I was doing that because everybody wanted to grab a flag and wave a flag. So it's good energy, and it's a lot of people who really care, and that's really cool to see. It's really special to see, and I guess it's scary circumstances that so many people feel so moved to come out. But it's a special, not necessarily even in a good way, but it's a special time when you see a lot of people who are coming out, bringing energy, bringing their voices, and making sure that they're heard in times like this where changes could be happening that could either be good or bad for the future of the state, Jewish people, American Jews, the world. So yeah, but I feel hopeful seeing a huge crowd like this, and again the energy, because I think the presence is noted. They mentioned Biden's opening remarks with the Prime Minister, so I think the attention has been grabbed. So that's cool too.
Amazing. I just want to move away from this megaphone. Do you mind walking with me? I want to ask you, what's your estimation of the severity and the urgency of this moment?
Okay, well, I guess this is where the details come in, but I think it's a big moment. It could be a big problem to make changes to the Supreme Court and to the checks and balances. That's a huge issue. I think just anything that's going to affect the institutions of government, democratic institutions. I think anything that could affect the relationship between the U.S. and Israel, and just Israel worldwide, that's a huge issue. So is it like the end of the world, the end of Israel? I don't know. I don't know if I would say that, but it could be. I think there's just a lot of unknowns, and better safe than sorry. Better show up to support democracy and make sure everything stays stable and not making drastic changes that doesn't have the support of half the population of Israel. So yeah, I'm not a political commentator. I don't really know, but it seems like it's a unique moment. It's not just any other protest movement.
What's a message that you have to people like your roommate that slept in today? No offense.
Go to bed earlier. Set a couple more alarms. I think he would have showed up. He was tired.
Okay, no, all kidding aside.
The other people. I think read like read some articles, see what's going on, reach out if you have friends or family in Israel. I mean, that's for me is a very helpful thing for showing up, is I have family in Israel. I have a cousin who served in the army. He's been going to protests. I was telling him about what was going on this week. He was encouraging me to show up. So I think the social connections are important, but I think most important is just like pay attention and read what's going on and show up. Doesn't hurt to show up to a protest. It's fun. The weather's nice right now. Good to see the Israeli-American crowd. Yeah, always good to know what's going on, and it does feel like it's a big moment in Israel. People are really concerned. It could be a historic moment. I guess it already has been a historic moment with some of the reforms that have gone through. So check in, tune in, and see what's going on. And if you feel moved, show up to a protest. You'll feel good about it.
Amazing. Thank you so much. Really appreciate it. So you can, if you want, you can scan this. I mean, we're live right now, but you can catch the replay or just search on YouTube for USA for Israeli Democracy.
Sounds great.
And thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, and thank you for tuning in, everybody tuning in, and for doing your broadcast.
My pleasure. My pleasure. Go get them. Let your voice be heard.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to get back. Someone asked a question in the middle of that. Let's see here. Yes, I'm sorry. Could I put you on camera? Don't be. It's okay. It's hard to tell that we're filming. We're live right now. You want to speak on camera?
I'm not participant of demonstration.
Okay.
So I just here to give to present.
Oh, thank you.
Book for
not for me. I really appreciate it. But thank you very, very much.
No
thank
problem.
you for being here.
Appreciating you for your kindness.
Absolutely. Back at you. Excuse me. Can we speak by camera? Can we come away from the... Thank you so much. I'm Sheldon. I'm volunteering with USA for Israeli Democracy. We are live streaming right now. I'm going to get close just so we can hear you over the noise. This is a big deal to have you on with us. Would you mind telling our English-speaking crowd who's watching around the world right now who you are, where you're from, what you're doing here?
So I'm here from San Francisco. I'm one of the co-founders for Unacceptable, which is the grassroots movement for pro-Israeli democracy in America and around the world. I'm a tech entrepreneur. I've been in the US since 2011, and I'm so honored to be here with this amazing group in New York.
Amazing. How many protests have you been to in New York so far?
This is my first protest in New York.
Okay, how does it feel?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like I lived here for about 3 years, between 2011 to 2014. I have many friends here, and they're all here, and I'm delighted.
Amazing. Many of us saw the video of your projection on Alcatraz the other night. You want to tell us anything about that?
The only thing I can tell you is that when people are telling you that you're doing something extreme, you should ask who is doing the real extreme stuff, who is taking the country to the edge, who is taking the country to trying to turn it into a messianic dictatorship. So as long as we're doing something which is non-violent, that is uncomfortable, and we are raising awareness, I encourage everyone to do whatever they can to save Israel. I want you to speak up. If it's hurting your stomach, it means that you're doing something wrong.
Can you talk about the urgency and severity of the moment?
Well, as you can see, Israel is 80% of the people in Israel support the protest movement. 20% has actually participated. People in the Jewish community here are joining in masses. We saw rabbis in the congregation over the high holiday speaking about the urgency. This is a true existential crisis. If we are able to do anything, like people did in Yom Kippur War, they pick up the stuff and go up and on an airplane and start the fight. Like the government, the American government, the administration, and the Congress, they all support it. So when it's an existential crisis, it's not about right or left, it's about right or wrong.
Do you, if you could distill one or two main messages that you want to make sure that English speakers around the world could hear, could understand, or maybe you have a request for them?
So the message is really that you, whenever you speak up for democracy, you're doing the most patriotic way for the Jewish homeland. I mean, this is not something that, I know that it's against many of the DNA that we grew up, you grew up on, not speak up, when people said that we are washing dirty laundry outside. If there is a dirty laundry, it's because someone makes it there. And we have to fight it, and you are part of it. Israel is a homeland for all Jewish people. Whether you're Reform, conservative, Orthodox, secular, it's all our. And we have been part of this contract for many, many years since the independence of the Declaration of Independence. And now people are trying to change the contract and we want like this. And you are part of it.
Last question. How hopeful are you right now?
I am super optimistic. I mean, like, you can see the people on the street, both here and in Israel. You see the energy, you see that we're the majority. And when you come with love and you come with non-violent protests in masses, there is no other way. I mean, like, other than to win. So, and not just to win, it's actually to rebuild the structure of democracy to make sure that any other random majority will not be able to change the rules of the game.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
Pleasure. Thank you for doing it.
Batzlacha. My pleasure. Thank you. Okay. We're going to go back and listen.
Doesn't matter what politics, if it's not about
My kids really, all these slogans after this. But it didn't go in the some like someone, the guy who won the guy.
שלוש רשויות, לישראל שלי, היו לה שלוש רשויות, לא היה זו הארץ שלי, שלוש רשויות לארץ שלי, לולא היו לה שלוש רשויות, לא הייתה זו הארץ שלי, לביבי שלי שלושה אישומים, שוחד מרמה הפרת אמונים, לולא היו לו שלושה אישומים, לא היה משנה את החוקים, לביבי שלי שלושה אישומים, שוחד מרמה הפרת אמונים, לולא היו לו שלושה אישומים, לא היה משנה את החוקים.
We're just waiting for him to go out.
Xavier, friends, thank you for being here today. Another reminder, tomorrow we meet at 7 p.m. Get all the messages in the WhatsApp group. If by any chance you're not there, let's go and join the WhatsApp group where all the updates are. Tomorrow we have all day long shifts in front of the house right now. Really important for us to be there all the time. Go there. Protect that. Connect you with the person who's there. It's important to be there all the time. We want them to see us. We want them to know that we're there fighting for democracy 24/7. Friday, 8:30 in the morning. Everybody comes in front of the UN. The exact location will be sent. You have to be there and bring new people who haven't been with us so far. We have speakers that haven't spoken till now. There's nothing to this one. This is a unique moment, an important moment. Bring everybody. And thanks again to the NYPD.
Thank you.
ציון ירושלים
Thank you everyone for tuning in today, even if you couldn't physically be here. If you have any questions that you want to be asked, please post them in the Facebook group, in the WhatsApp group, or anywhere. It'll eventually get to us. Please make sure to share this on your social media, share it with friends and emails, wherever you can. Keep up to date. We're going to be coming at you again tomorrow and Friday. Thank you to everyone who's shown up in person. Thank you for all of our organizers. Thank you for everyone who's showing up online for supporting democracy. And we'll see you soon.